Remember that scene in Armageddon where, in exchange for landing on a meteorite and planting a nuclear bomb on it, all the guys want in exchange is to never pay taxes again? God, that was a good script. The fight over Donald Trump's tax returns is a battle between an unstoppable force, like a meteorite, and an immovable object. The unstoppable force in this case is the House Democratic majority, which, since they came into power in the 2018 midterm elections, have made getting a look at Trump's past tax returns a major priority. The immovable object is Trump himself. Ever since he became a candidate for president, way back in the summer of 2015, he has refused to release even a single year of tax returns.
I'm releasing when we're finished with the audit. Hopefully it's going to be before the election.
He's got a 12,000-page tax return that's under audit. There's nothing there.
You know, the only one that cares about my tax returns are the reporters. Okay?
You don't think the American public is concerned?
No, I don't think so. I won.
For the first 2 years of Trump's presidency, nothing really moved on the tax returns front. Sure, every April 15th, Democrats made a big stink about the fact that Trump is the first president in the modern era, since Richard Nixon effectively, not to release any tax returns. But there was no way they could attempt to force Trump's hand, since Republicans controlled the House and the Senate and had a total of zero interest in spending time on getting a look at President Trump's taxes. That all changed in a big way on November 6, 2018, when Democrats picked up 40 Republican-held House seats and in so doing retook the majority they had lost 8 years prior. Why did it change? Well, because of a provision of tax law from way back in 1924. I'm sure you know about this, but known as Code 6103, the little-known piece of the law allows the chairman of the House Ways and Means Committee to request any individual's tax return. And according to the code, the Treasury Secretary, quote, shall furnish such committee with any return or return information specified in such request, end quote. A lot of suches. Which is exactly what Ways and Means Committee Chairman Richard Neal of Massachusetts is in the process right now of doing. Quote, I think the president has an opportunity here to diffuse this and just release the forms as every other candidate for president has done, Neal said shortly after the 2018 election. Even if the request is made, I don't expect that afternoon we're going to see those tax forms. So I think we'll do what we have to do and then see where the road takes us and the path that we travel. Steep. It's pretty clear that Trump isn't going to just, turn over his tax returns. He spent 3 years making a variety of excuses for why he can't, ranging from that he is under audit, to that his taxes are just too complex for the average person to understand, to the idea that regular people, they just don't care. Why has Trump fought so hard against what had become standard disclosure practice for presidential candidates and presidents in the past? I don't know. But here's what I do know. Early on in his campaign, Trump decided that whatever was in his returns was way worse than the negative press he might endure for not releasing his returns. This is a hill Trump seems willing to die on. Now, it's no surprise, given all that water under the bridge, that the Trump White House doesn't exactly see the things the way Neal and House Democrats do when it comes to Trump's returns. The Treasury Department has, at least publicly, been very tight-lipped about the whole thing. Quote, Secretary Mnuchin will review any request with the Treasury General Counsel for legality, a spokeswoman told Politico in February. But behind the scenes, there's an active effort at both the Treasury Department and among Republicans in the House and Senate to mount both a legal and a political defense against the Democratic request to get a look at Trump's taxes. And the Republican argument goes a little something like this. Democrats' desire to view Trump's taxes have nothing to do with the public interest and absolutely everything to do with political considerations. Quote, where does it end? What about the tax returns of the Speaker? Political donors? There is no end in sight. That's Republican Pennsylvania Congressman Mike Kelly, who's a member of the Ways and Means Committee. He added this, quote, every single American has the right to privacy. Republicans believe that if Trump's tax returns are turned over to Neal, they would inevitably be leaked to the public in very short order, and that such a leak would be a violation of, among other things, Trump's right to privacy. So, where do we go from here? Well, Neal must first formally make the request. And to be honest, he's kind of taking his time with it, making sure that there are no obvious legal loopholes that either the Treasury Department or Trump's attorneys can cite to allow the president to wiggle out of disclosure. Quote, we are doing our due diligence, Neal told CNN's Lauren Fox in early March. Quote, I don't have a timeline, end quote. clears things up. So when Neal does formally make his request, it's very likely that Mnuchin will either ignore it completely or refuse to turn the records over, at which point Neal will subpoena the returns. And the Trump administration will, I assume, fight that subpoena. So fast forward, long story short, the case will almost certainly find its way to the Supreme Court, since neither side seems willing to bend an inch on this issue. Now, if this fight lands in the court, it could well happen in the midst of a very contentious 2020 campaign between Trump and the eventual Democratic presidential nominee. If that comes to pass, you can be sure it would be a major issue in that very campaign. All of which would put the Supreme Court in a place it really hates being, at the epicenter of a white-hot political debate. And that is the point. We make New Point episodes every Tuesday and Thursday. Make sure to check them all out.